There are different people from different offices and of different professional calling. Yet they all have one thing in common. They are captains of the Nigerian business and economy community. EOM Business Network. So much for one broadcast.
Hello there, a very beautiful morning to you, and thank you very much indeed for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on yet another episode of the EOM Business Network. Oh yes, the EOM Business Network is a weekly in-depth report and analysis on the Nigerian economy as it connects with operators of businesses and the emerging markets. I am Elkanah Ogenavo Mowari. On this week's package of the program, we shall bring you a special report, indeed an expose on Howard Roark Limited, a frontline real estate development and management company. Sit back now, relax yourself as we unfold the details. Do stay with us. Howard Roark Limited, also known as HRL, an investing company of Roark Capital Management Limited, is a frontline property development firm whose principals have vast experience in real estate development and management, construction logistics, and investment advisory services. HRL is positioned to deliver significant value in the real estate market to its institutional, corporate, and private clients. Its key services include development of commercial and residential properties, investment in consortia developments with other partners, management of real estate developments on behalf of external promoters, and arranging, structuring partnership, joint ventures and syndications, amongst others. Backed by a network of international affiliates, HRL is structured and driven by determination to provide professional and excellent services for its valued clients. And as a result of its unique offerings, Howard Roark Limited has become a household name in the real estate industry in Nigeria. Adeyeye Ogunwusi is the Group Managing Director and Chief Executive.
Howard Roark is a company that I co-pioneered. We started operations in 2007. We went into a development called Jacob Muse, 170 units in Yaba. But before then, I have been actively involved in real estate over the last 12, 13 years in terms of facilitating a couple of developments on the Lekki corridor. We've been very bullish along that corridor, but we decided to go to the mainland to work on some other developments. So we started Howard Roark. I'm the pioneer managing director, and I'm still the managing director. So we developed the project. It's called Jacob Muse. We had our challenges along the line with the project, but we're very happy people are living there now because it's a typical land that a lot of people don't want to develop on. We like to take on projects that are very challenging, that will challenge us and that will stimulate us mentally. So it's a company that is growing. And we have a whole lot of other developments within Lekki corridor, and we're expanding. We're very young, but we're very bullish. And we have some other very unique projects that we're doing. We're trying to go into retail market. We're trying to go into leisure market of real estate. We want to go into the area of resort development. So it's a company that is growing, and we'll keep growing. In our own little way, we are trying to make an impact in the real estate. So we have a couple of South African foreign partners that we want to work with right now. But we believe very strongly in Nigeria. We believe we can do things very well in the country. Do not focus our attention too much on getting foreign partnership. There is a general saying, charity begins at home. So we believe that we should do things for ourselves first, then foreign partners can come into being much later. It's very interesting. It's been impacting on us in a very positive way. And like I said earlier on, we believe very strongly in Nigeria, and we believe in Nigerians. And we believe that we can do a lot, and we are doing a lot. We can show you a lot of projects that were done by Nigerians. You will never even believe that they were done by Nigerians. So it's one of our core beliefs as a company. So it has really, really made a lot of impact. It's about orientation and training. I believe Nigerians can do a lot. We don't need to continue to write ourselves off. It starts from somewhere. We need to make a positive impact on one another.
With a vision to be the leading developer and supplier of sustainable luxury houses and residential estates in Africa, the firm has earned a reputation for unique and outstanding projects.
The vision statement of a company is to make housing affordable within the next 20 years in this country. And what do I mean by making housing affordable? To make housing to reach all and sundry that will be able to meet the demand of mortgage, work in conjunction with a lot of mortgage companies, and try and block the difference between the demand chain and the supply chain in the country. It's a vision that we carefully carved together. We want to try as much as possible to reach out to the needy in terms of housing development, because the market is very, very huge. It is seller's market because the demand is not enough. It's way more than the supply. In terms of affordable luxury accommodation, we don't have enough in the country. So our vision is to be very focused and try and work towards achieving it within the next 15 to 20 years. Our mission statement, it's very similar to our vision statement. Our mission has always to be very focused in the thing that we're doing. Our mission is to work very closely in terms of vertical integration. Our mission is to try our very best to bring the cost of development down to more than 30-40%, so that housing can be affordable to the people and to the populace that will need it. Wood factories there, tiling factories there, and I can go on and on. So our mission is to try as much as possible to work on partnership with companies that we cannot set up, and the ones that we can set them up properly and backward integrate properly to reduce the cost of development. And right now too, we're very vast in terms of putting together a lot of research and development with a couple of universities and technical institutions in Nigeria, getting the right team, getting the right personnel to get all these things done. So what we've achieved, now we have a capacity to deliver a lot of housing units. And our focus will be, by next year, we will be delivering between 500 to 1,000 units.
HRL, alongside its promoters, have over the years acquired a strong and positive reputation in the real estate market, especially due to the combined values of integrity, transparency, resilience, and professionalism.
Our core values are basically integrity, transparency, resilience, and in all to work to put back to the society in terms of our corporate social responsibility. We believe in impacting a lot to the society that we are from. So we are very, very persistent to maintain standard that we have set up in terms of our core values. Our designs are very unique. It's a very young company. We're very private. We're very focused in what we do. You will see any development that we do, you will know that it's very different. We believe in close communal living. We believe in bringing contemporary designs to play. We believe in trying to make things happen in a different way. And we believe in using the natural resources of this country. We have a lot. Believe you me, we have a lot. So we're very different, very, very different in anything we do. I've been able, like I mentioned earlier on, Jacob Muse. Jacob Muse is 170 units. People are living there now, but some of the developments are still ongoing in terms of phases. I've handled Lakeview Park. Lakeview Park is a 25-hectare site and service scheme that will have over 400,000 units eventually. We have finished the phase one. The phase one was very successful. We have a second phase of Lakeview. It's called Lakeview Park 2. It's currently ongoing right now. Along the line of Lakeview Park 2, we're doing a 5-kilometer road. It's a private sector driven road because we involved a consortium of developers that were working on that project together. And it's been very encouraging because it's like a communal development that we all came together to put things right. We don't want to wait for government to do everything for us. We are also doing North Point Estate. North Point Estate, we have finished the first phase. We did it within 5 months and people are already living there right now. It's a 25 unit twin duplexes. We're doing the second phase, we're doing the third phase, and we have Midland Court that we're doing. In total, we have 105 units within North Point development. We have another 50 units in West Point. All are within the Lekki Peninsula corridor that we're doing. Above all, we're going into affordable luxury mass housing because that's where the critical mass is by next year. What we want to be doing there is build houses between the range of 8 million naira to 25 million naira, and it will be very affordable because we have a lot of corporate and individuals that can afford this, but they don't have that kind of access to those kind of units because pricing is always a major issue. And what makes pricing of houses to be high is the cost of land. We've been able to put things in the right perspective there, and it's something we will really focus on by next year because that is where the critical mass is.
It is also worthy to note that HRL has fully benchmarked itself on international best practices by engaging the proficiency and professionalism of seasoned experts.
We have a lot of in-house training for our employees, and we invite a lot of experienced consulting and training outfits to come and take on the key areas are health and safety. We are very particular about that. And in terms of general administration and in terms of feedback to our clients. So training is very important to us. We have an in-house training session on a monthly basis that train all the line managers and even the lower KDL managers and even the supervisors. But pretty much what is important to us is to ensure that the young and dynamic company put things right and do things efficiently and effectively. And how can we get that done? Is through manpower training and development. So we don't joke with that. We pay a very particular attention to that. And we actually send out our employees to several training schools locally for now. We haven't been sending them abroad. That's what we do right now, but we pay particular attention to in-house training. We do that for quite a long because we have access to facilities that we can use in-house.
Adeyeye Ogunwusi, a practitioner of note, takes a look at the housing sector and indeed the maintenance culture in Nigeria.
The housing sector in Nigeria, it's very untapped. You can decipher from the population that we already have in this country. It's a sector that there hasn't been much attention, and the government hasn't really been paying so much attention to it. It is real that we have a very, very short housing stock that can go around. We can't write off this country. If you look at the history of a very recent urban center, a typical Dubai. If you go to Dubai 20, 30 years ago, they were rearing camel across some very popular streets. And if you look at the history down the line of the typical New York, 40 years ago, it was a very dirty government to encourage private participation. I don't like to put proper blame to government all the time. For infrastructure is life. Infrastructure brings a lot of investment. Infrastructure brings a lot of development all over the world. So we are still very, very far from where we're going to in the country. But I can tell you a typical example, Lagos State. If you go to Lagos State now, the infrastructure there, it's something very good to write home about. The current government is working aggressively to put things right. And a couple of other states, they are emulating what Lagos State government is doing. If you go to Akwa Ibom, it's another very good example of what infrastructure should be. So I think we will get there.
In furtherance to its commitment to building a sustainable company devoted to raising standards in the sector, HRL, as a result of the failed mortgage scheme in Nigeria, set up a cooperative firm known as Grand Imperial Cooperative Multipurpose Society, whose main goal, among others, is to enable people save and acquire luxury homes of choice. Enito Tunde Ibironke is the coordinator.
Generally, cooperative societies, like I said earlier on, are created for economic purposes. A cooperative society is set up for its members to save their money regularly, and that's a major challenge we have in Nigeria. Nigeria is not a society that particularly encourages the savings culture, and that's because, apart from the fact that we're quite flamboyant and ostentatious, which is really not a problem in some cases, the economic situation a lot of Nigerians find themselves makes it almost impossible to save. That's one of the reasons why the Grand Imperial Cooperative Multipurpose Society came into being. Our first goal is to enable you save. At the end of the day, when you're saving, you're able to start planning, you're able to start dreaming. And as we say, we bring your dreams to life. Our offerings, Grand Imperial has various offerings. We have food and retail, we have childcare, we have healthcare, we have fashion. Most people actually laugh when we talk about fashion, but you know, what we have tailored our offerings on are the 4 basic needs, and then we have built on. We also have shelter. I laugh when I say shelter because that is a singular problem. That is the major singular problem we have in Nigeria, in Africa, and even in the world today. It's not just an African issue, it's not just an emerging markets issue. It's a general problem all over the world, but we know that in Nigeria it's especially bad. If you want to live well and comfortably, you practically have to almost sell everything you possess. And you know how it is in Nigeria, we earn and we just spend, we earn and we spend. Now, shelter for us is very critical. It's the most expensive of our product lines, the most expensive to own, to achieve. And that is why it's something that we have focused on, and in the course of our interview, I would expatiate further on our shelter offering.
Adeyeye Ogunwusi, a graduate of accountancy and a certified member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, has completed various projects which contains over 1,500 completed housing units. He is indeed happily married with a daughter.
My name is Adeyeye Ogunwusi. I am an accountant by training, but I have a flair. I developed a flair for real estate development. At some point in the course of my career, I used to be a trader in commodities. We started trading to the tune of getting involved in iron rods and cement. And at some point, I realized that the demand for iron rods and cement was very alarming in the country. And it made us to get probed further. And what are they doing with this thing within the country? Which led to the passion for real estate. I was actively involved in steel processing plant setup, engineering, procurement, and construction. I work with a lot of Indians that are coming to the country as a consultant, trying to set up a lot of steel manufacturing plants, which is directly related to real estate development. We've been able to set up quite a lot along Otta and Ikorodu, which they still are, up till tomorrow, they're still our clients. We buy a lot of steel from a couple of them. So the initial competence was in engineering, procurement, and construction, which now led me to become a real estate developer. I am married and I have a daughter.
This is indeed a glimpse on Howard Roark Limited, otherwise known as HRL.
When the industry is fine.
Draft FCB is the second largest global agency in Africa.
Advertising is a teamwork. It's what only one man cannot be the team.
If you are in a good environment, it makes you to think well.
Style next. Experience it and love it. Well, and that's about it on this week's package of the EOM Business Network. Thank you very much for staying with us. We'd like to also express our deep gratitude to our sponsors for the interest and support. In the meantime, just in case you missed the program, you can also catch us on www.eomcommunications.com. I am Elkanah Ogenovo Mawai. Same time, same channel next week. We'll see you then.